Progressive prosecutors are discriminating against United States citizens, and it's happening all across the country. You may have read in Fox News recently that the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund sent a letter to the Department of Justice calling out one particular progressive prosecutor, Steve Descano, who's the Commonwealth's attorney in Fairfax County, Virginia, which is just outside of Washington, D.C. I'm Jason Johnson, the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. I have with me Sean Kennedy, who's our Director of Policy. I'm going to start with you, Sean, on the just give us the background on how this came to our attention just a few weeks ago.
Well, a few weeks before Christmas, an individual was released from jail here in Fairfax County because the progressive prosecutor dropped all the charges against him. And those charges were attempted murder, or what is called malicious wounding in Virginia. And the next day, within 24 hours, that man killed another man and is now facing, obviously, second-degree murder charges. But it turns out the killer, Marvin Morales Ortiz, is actually an illegal alien who has repeatedly received leniency from this progressive prosecutor here at Fairfax County. And the reason is simple. There is an explicit policy in Fairfax County under this progressive prosecutor, Soros funded, we might add, Steve Descano, to include the consideration of immigration consequences, which means that if somebody's illegal, they get a better deal because otherwise, if they get convicted of a felony or other serious offense, they may get sent home to their foreign country. So the rub is that being an American citizen and committing the same crime here in Fairfax County and jurisdictions across the country under these progressive prosecutors, you actually get discriminated against. And that's what happened here because this individual got repeated leniency that would not have been extended to an American citizen because of this policy in Fairfax County to consider immigration consequences to the detriment of American citizens.
We're talking about an actual written policy that's published by the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, was adopted by the current elected Commonwealth Attorney. This is a government organization subject to the United States Constitution. And it's adopted a specific, explicit policy that says, if you are in the country illegally, we will treat you in a way that's different than and in a way that's more favorable to how we would treat a citizen of the United States or anyone else who's in the country lawfully. And so that's the real issue. So what does our letter ask the Department of Justice to do? Well, it asks the Department of Justice to use a statute that's in place that has already been used mostly against police organizations and sheriff's offices and other law enforcement organizations, but also has been used against prosecutors' offices. And the standard is that the request is that they do an investigation. It's called a pattern or practice investigation. The idea is the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division would examine the Commonwealth Attorney's Office's policies and practices and see if there is a pattern or practice of unlawful, unconstitutional discrimination, in this case against United States citizens and others that are lawfully present in the United States. Could easily be also on the basis of race or other criteria. And so we're asking them to open that investigation. We're optimistic that they will because it's a very clear violation, very clearly unconstitutional. The remedy would probably be a consent decree, ironically, that could potentially be imposed to require the Commonwealth's attorney to strike that policy, replace it with a constitutional policy, and to make sure that moving forward that they conduct the office in a constitutional and lawful manner. But frankly, Sean, this is not the first time you ever heard of Steve Descano or the Fairfax County Commonwealth's Attorney's Office because it's been engaged in all sorts of other crazy, radically progressive ideas in the past. So just summarize some of those things, the crazy things that have happened before.
Well, in addition to, prosecuting cops in clear, valid use of force cases, there's been prominent examples of people who've been let go because of Steve Descano's either incompetence or indifference to victims. He's been repeatedly taken to task by local judges for violating the Victims' Rights Act by not getting victims a voice in court. He's been reprimanded for lying to courts about what has gone on. And the saddest part is so many of his prosecutors are inexperienced. One of them even went to the media to complain that he was overworked and undertrained because he was in charge of the sex crimes desk and he had never prosecuted a sex crime. And it wouldn't be unexpected that somebody like Steve Descano, who had himself has never prosecuted a criminal case and still hasn't to this day, would put people who are not qualified in a position to do that. And so Fairfax County has some of the worst conviction rates and the lowest sentencing rates for serious and violent crimes across the Commonwealth of Virginia. and it's only getting worse. And crime is going up while crime is going down in the rest of the state. So it's clearly not working here. But Steve Descano is ensconced in power, and he obviously thinks he's untouchable because he would put something like this not only in practice, but he would put it in public. He would tell us what he's going to do and then do it.
Thank you, Sean. Obviously, a lot going on in the Commonwealth Attorney's Office in Fairfax County. We really want to shine a bright light on it. Not only what we sent the letter to the Department of Justice, but also all of the things that Sean just outlined. If you want to see our letter that we sent to the Department of Justice, click the link below. You can review the letter. We are the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. Thanks for joining us.